morning, Max and Mavericks. At least it's morning time over here. I hope you guys are doing well wherever you are. And if you're new here, welcome to my channel. Here at Mac the Maverick, we talk all things well-rounded womanhood. If you're not new here, I really appreciate you moseying on back to hang out with me. So today we're going to talk about the Urban Decay Naked Metal Mania palette. So you guys are probably familiar with Urban Decay. They've been in this makeup space for quite some time, and you're probably familiar with their Naked series of palettes, which people seem to really love and stan. I actually have, I think, Naked 2. It was gifted to me, and quiet as it's kept, I'm not crazy about it, but I'm gonna give this particular palette a chance. So I did receive this for free from Influenster and Urban Decay in exchange for my honest review. I'll let you guys know that up front. But let's just talk about the actual palette. So this iteration of Naked is supposed to have several wet effect metallic eyeshadows that are supposed to be able to take us from brunch in the morning to our concerts and our parties and such at night, which is timely for this time of year as people start thinking about holiday parties and fall jams or whatever it is that you do. So in terms of the features of this palette, first of all, if nothing else, get into this packaging. This packaging is absolutely gorgeous in my opinion. And here are the shades. So as you can see, there are 12 different shades in this palette. Of course, it comes with our mirror here, as well as a brush that I'm going to take out so it doesn't fall out while we talk about it. But it ranges the gamut of neutrals to some other types of fun metallic shades, and I'm actually going to swatch them for you. There are 4 finishes in this palette: the wet effect metallics that we talked about. There are some shimmery type shadows, satins, as well as a couple of mattes. All right, so let's get to swatching. Starting with the neutrals, we have this shade right here, Double Kick, which is a creamy beige with a satin finish. All right, and then there is Sound Tower right here, which is a warm light brown right there. Woo! And then Studio, which is this warm medium brown. And don't worry, if you can't see that, I will insert a clip in here so you can see that. All right, and then there is Road Crew, which is this dark, kind of cool, deep brown right here on the end that has a soft matte finish. It's brown, but it looks gray. That's interesting. And then Black, which is matte, but it also has kind of a sparkly finish. Heavy. And that's that. I'm going to swap to the inside of my arm because this is awkward. Okay, and on to our 2 wet look metallics, which are Decadent, this pretty metallic gold. And then Spike Stud, which is a metallic silver right here. And last but not least, we have our shimmery metallics, starting with Shred, which is a champagne rose color with that metallic finish. Then there is Trash, what a name, which is this copper. And then Headbang, which is a rose gold right here. It's more subtle. Power Quartz, which is this magenta shade, which I feel like when you open this palette or look at it, this is the first shade that kind of catches your eye. So it's kind of really pinky. And last but not least, Scene, which is a gunmetal silver. So these are the mattes on this side, or our neutrals, which range from a satin finish to a matte finish. And then on this side, we have our 2 wet look metallics as well as our shimmery metallics. And I will pop something up here for a second so that you can see these swatches all together and go from there. So as you can see, you got a variety of shades to take you from neutral everyday looks to more bold nighttime looks, smoky eyes, whatever it is that you want to do there. One thing I really have to give Urban Decay some props for is product information. When I'm trying to test a product for the first time, I try to use it as close to how it was intended to be used as possible. Some brands don't make that easy because they don't really give you much instructions or guidance. But if you go to Urban Decay's website into this particular palette, they actually have a list of 5 or 6 different looks and the step-by-step instructions to do those. So as we test, here's what we're going to be looking for in the criteria on which we will judge this eyeshadow. First of all, they claim that it's going to be long lasting up to 12 hours. We will give and take that because I don't know if I will even wear it that long, but we'll put that out there. The velvet texture of these eyeshadows and the pigments are supposed to make these eye colors very blendable, to smoke, to buff, to blend, and be beginner friendly. They actually say that. And also minimal shadow fallout. Notice that choice of words. I appreciate them saying minimal and not no fallout. Like, don't even expect that, they say. But we'll see if it's minimal or it's a lot. So yeah, we will try a daytime look and we will try a nighttime look, and I will tell you all what I think about it, and we'll go from there. All right, so the first look we're going to try is the everyday matte neutral eye look, and I'm going to try my best to use the brush that came in this palette, but I'm not going to make you all no promises. So first of all, I'm going to prime my eyelids. I also received the Urban Decay eyeshadow primer potion. This product has been around for a while. I've used it before. It's decent. Have no real complaints about it. I'm just kind of putting that all over my lids like that, like so. And so first First thing they want us to do is go into this shade Studio and apply it to our crease. And I don't know whether we've had this conversation before, but my eyelids are borderline hooded. It's one reason I'm hesitant to use this brush. So I try, can't tell you how successfully, but I try to do a little magic and manipulate some things to make things work for my disappearing eyelids. Next up, they want us to blend out the first shade with a touch of the shade Sound Tower, and they want us to place it a little bit higher than where we put Studio. So I'm going to take the blender side of this brush and I'm going into Sound Tower, and I'm nervous about it because y'all know how it is with some matte brown shadows. They can appear either real chalky or just not appear at all on brown skin. And then for added depth and dimension, they want us to pack a touch of our dark brown shade Road Crew into the outer corner of our eye. And I'm going to go back in with that same brush. It's highly pigmented on the brush, so we'll see what it does. But they want us to put that in our outer corner. Ooh. Might have done a little bit too much, but we'll just go with it. I have an idea about how to fix it. And then they want us to swipe this shade, where is it? Double Kick onto the lids. And I don't want to go back in with this brush for obvious reasons, or this one, so I am going to use my own brush. I'm sure you could probably use your fingers too, but I will use this small brush today. And last but not least, they tell us to dust a mix of Studio and Sound Tower across our lower lash line. So I'm gonna go into Studio and Sound Tower. Now, this particular set of instructions doesn't tell us anything else about blending, but obviously it needs to be done. So I'm gonna go into Sound Tower and I'm gonna blend this out, soften up that line a little bit. So that it's not so obnoxious. And I'm gonna actually go back in with Studio and just kind of define the crease back where I originally put it a little bit. And I'm gonna make an editorial choice here and line my eyes with a dark brown eyeliner pencil. And for my lip color, I'm going to be using my Absolute New York Perfect Pair. Duo in the shade Malted Chai. I really love these pencils, by the way. I've been meaning to do a standalone video, but I have them in almost every color. They're awesome. And this is the finished everyday look. Okay, so first impression, I will pop up a couple photos here so that you can see what this look kind of looks like in natural light. It's not terrible. I mean, I look more done than I did when I started. And I will say that it was beginner friendly. I didn't have to fight with the shadows to get them out of the pan. They are smooth in terms of how they apply. I'm just concerned that some of the lighter shades, especially the lightest one that I put like on my lids, might be a little bit chalky and might not pay off to the degree that I would want them to for somebody with my skin tone, but not terrible by any stretch of the imagination. So what we'll do, I'll wear this for the day, and then tomorrow I'll come back and do our more glam look. So we got light rock, classic rock, and then we have hard rock that we'll do tomorrow, and we'll see how that turns out. All right, so it is Saturday at 11 o'clock in the morning, and we're gonna do our second look. The other looks that Urban Decay suggests on their website are nighttime looks, so I'm gonna try to find the one that is least obnoxious. Not that you can't wear nighttime makeup any time of the day, but yeah. Let's do the black and silver smoky eye. So first up, we are going to apply our eyeshadow primer. And I'm just gonna apply a little bit of that all over my lids. No lie, this eyeshadow primer is colored coming out of the tube, but it goes on almost clear. So sometimes I have a hard time knowing that I have it on, but it's there. And I'm not applying it directly with my wand because I do put foundation on my eyelids, and I don't want to transfer the foundation onto the wand. Also, it's technically good practice to put stuff like that on a palette, especially to put things like that on a palette and then apply it to your face so that you don't contaminate the wand. I don't always do that because I'm not sharing my makeup with anyone, but it is a good way to just keep germs out of there. So we've got that on, and the first thing they want us to do is put the shade Studio. And one thing that I found with this palette, the formula is so soft that these shadows get kind of crumbly. I don't know if you can see that, but I foresee this palette getting dirty pretty fast, and I could totally see accidentally contaminating the shades adjacent to each other. But that's just a quick note. So they want us to apply Studio to our crease and lower lash line. For whatever reason, I feel like Studio is showing up a little bit better today than it did yesterday. And maybe that is me and the amount of primer that I have on, but we'll see. Then the lower lash line. Next up, they want us to add heavy, our sparkly black here, to the outer corners. I'm gonna actually go back in with this brush for that. And it is quite black on this brush, so. Ooh. And I'm going to just blend that out with Studio. They didn't tell us to do that, but I am, because that's gonna make me real nervous to just leave that there. Sure, I should probably just trust the process, but yeah. Okay, that's a little bit better. And then lastly, they want us to swipe Spike Stud, which is our metallic wet look silver shadow, across their lid, across our lid. I'm sure you can do this with a finger or a brush. I have both. I'm gonna try the finger first. And that is really bright, like unmistakably bright with just the finger. Uh-oh. It said minimal fallout. Well, yeah, it said minimal fallout, and there was a little bit there, but as you can see, easily I was able to get rid of it. So, really not mad at that. And then on the other lid, I'm gonna try with a brush. So as you can see, it's a little less opaque and pigmented when you use a brush. Another option that you can use is to wet your brush. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter Spray, our setting spray, and I actually did this in the wrong order. Whenever I do this, I like to get the shadow on the brush, then wet it, so that I don't ruin the texture of the shadow by accident. But wet brush, yeah. So far, actually, I like the finger method the best for this. I don't know why. Normally, I don't have as much control this way, but I feel like I actually had more control over here than I did with my synthetic brush. So I am going to actually go back into Studio, even though this is not part of the instructions, but I'm just gonna do that and just kind of buff away some of those harsh edges. And make sure that my heavy actually meets. All right, so this is the finished night look, and so far I'm pleased with it. I've had a pretty good experience doing this look. I'm gonna take these earrings off temporarily, but if I had to evaluate this going back to the criteria we set forth, the wet effect metallic shadows were supposed to have an intense payoff and heavy metal reflection. I would say check for that. Versatile shades for any occasion, from everyday brunch to rock or glam party. We've done an everyday look, we've done a party look, and I would say you could accomplish that with this palette. Long lasting for up to 12 hours of creative eye looks. Now, here is where debatable. I wore the shadow all day yesterday, and it lasted pretty much all day given the circumstances, the amount of sweating and moving around that I did. Did it just really stay on for 12 hours and look the same? I wouldn't say that much, but your mileage may vary. So next, eye color blends seamlessly. Smoke, buff, and blend with creamy shadows that are beginner friendly. I would say that this palette definitely checks those boxes. I had an easy time applying the shadow, an easy time blending the shadow, and we just did 2 different looks that only required 3 colors of eyeshadow, and they only took like 5 to 10 minutes to do in earnest. Me stopping and talking notwithstanding. But I say that to say, if you're just starting out and you're new to eyeshadow, those are looks that you could definitely do with minimal skill and minimal practice. So check. Minimal shadow fallout, because you want to rock a smoky eye, not a raccoon eye. So I will say we just used a metallic. We just used a sparkly black. The sparkling black went exactly where I told it to go without smudging or running or anything like that. And the metallic shadows, you did see a little bit of fallout, but what fallout was there, I was able to immediately get off of my face, and it's not showing up in my under eye or anywhere else that it is not supposed to be. So overall, let's see, critiques. My only critique I mentioned with the packaging is, the shadow formula is so soft. I could totally see that palette being a mess after a few uses. But if you clean your palettes regularly, you won't have that problem, as we all should be doing. And I did feel like that first shade, Sound Tower, the lighter shade in the palette that I used yesterday, was a little bit chalky. So, 11 out of 12 ain't bad. I'm not mad at the palette. I'm not mad at the formula. I'm not mad at how it applies or wears. So if I have to grade it, I would give it a, it's real nice. Now it retails for $59, so it's a little on the expensive side, but that equates to roughly $5 per single shadow. So do with that what you will. And you guys, I know that these palettes have been around a while. Let me know what you think of this palette or any others of your favorites. Drop down what you're using below, and who knows, I might do a real deal review on it on this channel. So that said, if you like this video, like this video. If you want to come and hang out some more and be notified when I post new videos, hit the subscribe button and make sure you click the bell to get alerts. And yeah, YouTube should be recommending something else for you guys to watch if you like, and I'd be honored if you did. So in the meantime, do what you love what you do, and be the best you can be. And we will catch up next time. Bye-bye.